I'm Tarsha Robinson.
And I'm Tiffany Almeida. Thank you for joining us this evening for ODEMSA News Now, as we announce the 2022 Regional EMS Award winners from across the region.
This special edition marks the third annual Regional EMS Award special presentation for ODEMSA News Now. And from what we can tell, you all seem to enjoy it as well. That's why tonight we invite you to cheer on this year's award winners in the comment section during the presentations.
Don't have anything you want to share in the comments? Well, you can still cheer on this year's winners by clicking the thumbs up button as many times as you want.
Go on and try it out by smashing that thumbs up or hearts next to the comments box on the bottom right of your screen a few times. I know you can do better than that. Show me and Tiffany some love. That's better. Let's keep those good job vibes going throughout tonight's awards.
Well, it looks like we're good to go, and everyone is standing by. Let's go live to the ODEMSA office to the Executive Director of ODEMSA, Heidi Hooker.
Thank you, Tiffany. I'm pleased to be joined with Rodney Newton, President of the ODEMSA Board of Directors. We're both happy to be with all of you this evening in your homes, stations, or wherever else you may be watching.
Thank you, Heidi. It's my pleasure to be here to recognize all of the outstanding Old Dominion EMS Alliance Regional Award winners this evening. This is an annual recognition program that is held by each of Virginia's 11 EMS regional councils. Each council recognizes winners in 12 categories. Regional winners are advanced to compete for the State EMS Governors Award in those same 12 categories. The Virginia EMS Governors Awards will be presented at the Virginia EMS Symposium Banquet in November. The award for outstanding contribution by a high school senior includes a $1,000 scholarship from ODEMSA and competes for a $5,000 scholarship and the governor's recognition.
I want to take a moment to thank everyone that submitted nominations for this year's competition. As always, all of the nominations were outstanding. Each of tonight's award winners were nominated by their peers. While ODEMSA is responsible for accepting nominations and putting on this evening's program, we were not the team that selected tonight's award winners. That tremendous undertaking is done by an anonymous group of past award winners. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite any of tonight's winners that would like to participate in future selection committees to contact me. I also want to thank the selection committee. Picking an award winner for each category is no easy task, and I'm sorry for locking you up in that room.
This presentation would not be possible without the staff at ODEMSA. Between their normal day-to-day work, they promote these awards, gather nominations, choose an award selection committee, travel the region presenting the awards, then finally produce this presentation for your entertainment tonight. Heidi, thank you and your staff for all the hard work that you do.
Thank you, Rodney. It's our pleasure. We enjoy traveling the region and meeting so many of you who have gone above and beyond in your field or specialty. We anticipate you will enjoy tonight's broadcast, and please feel free to share it on your social media accounts so your friends and family can participate.
As you're watching, we encourage you to cheer on the winners as they're announced by making comments and likes.
And now, while Rodney's here with me, I'd like to present the first award of the evening. The Regional Award for Innovation Excellence in EMS. In the fall of 2021, due to a perfect storm of COVID cases, staffing shortages, and a significant number of very sick patients, very sick, we believe, because they didn't seek treatment during the height of the pandemic, hospitals became oversaturated with patients. There was an unusually high volume of patients, and hospitals were alarmingly short-staffed to handle that volume. This was not unique to our region. The same storm affected health systems the same way across the nation. For those that don't know, EMS personnel must give a detailed report of the patient condition and treatments they performed to ER staff before leaving the patient. In the fall of 2021, throughout the United States, EMS personnel were waiting sometimes 2 to 4 hours or more to give this report and offload the patient in the emergency department. This delay, often referred to as wall time, caused a chain reaction. Because EMS crews were stuck in the ERs, it then left communities short EMS services. ODEMSA already had plans in place to address situations when hospitals become oversaturated. When a certain number of hospitals reflect this status, it triggers a Code Black status in the region. Once in Code Black, under normal circumstances, VCU Medical Center begins the process of evenly distributing ambulances to hospitals with the goal of de-stressing the system. In the past, Code Black status lasted no more than 48 hours. Also in the past, Code Black was only activated once or twice every few years. In the fall of 2021, the ODEMSA region entered Code Black and did not come off that status for 6 months uninterrupted. As the days passed, it became necessary to call in assistance to run the operation. The regional diversion plan was intended for short-term activations. After running for a continuous 2 weeks, VCU requested staffing assistance. It also became apparent to the ODEMSA staff with the longevity of the event that the operation needed enhanced to run more efficiently. The ODEMSA staff ramped up a communication center within the ODEMSA office and began dispatching ambulances from the office. Equipment to run the operation was borrowed from the Central Virginia Healthcare Coalition. Phone systems in the ODEMSA office were updated with the help of the Virginia Regional EMS Council's IT assistants. With the help of Jordan Rennie and Christina Clark, a new, more efficient dashboard was created to assist communication staff to easily determine the best destination. The ODEMSA Diversion Committee began meeting weekly to determine the best course of action, and the ODEMSA Board of Directors supported the effort every step of the way. Hospitals participated by opening every square inch of their hospitals to hold patients. They were active participants on the Diversion Committee and provided staff to man the communications center. As the event proceeded, volunteers were requested, and we received those from community emergency response teams or CERT teams and from EMS providers that were off duty. Richmond Ambulance offered a program developed by Tom Luden called RICView that helped determine hospital wall time. EMS providers from the entire region participated by calling the Patient Distribution Center to determine the best place to take patients. As we've just described, to run the operation, it took teamwork from every agency in the region. And with that said, this award is presented to the Old Dominion EMS Alliance.
Thank you, Heidi. And to the person that nominated us. It's the ODEMSA mission to coordinate, plan, and implement an efficient and effective regional EMS delivery system. On behalf of the ODEMSA Board of Directors and the ODEMSA Diversion Committee, who oversees the ODEMSA diversion and destination plans, I accept this award with gratitude. Operating the Patient Distribution Center for a little over half a year was a shining example of how regional planning and partnership should work. ODEMSA accepts this award on behalf of everyone and every agency that participated.
And we really appreciate the recognition that the region is bestowing on all the people that participated. We were glad to be there. VCU was glad to be there and step up and help any way we could. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to say thank you. We're here to support everybody, and hopefully we can continue in the future.
The responsiveness of all parties involved was invaluable. People were very flexible, had positive attitudes in a very stressful time.
We're so thankful for everybody's efforts to continuously improve the health and well-being of the people that we serve.
On behalf of Bon Secours Health System, we appreciate the opportunity to join the PDC team.
It was a stressful time for the emergency departments as well as their EMS crews, and together, the Richmond Health Systems, ODEMSA, and a group of volunteers joined forces, which was unprecedented.
It is a privilege to be part of this team and assist our local EMS partners. Thank you for the recognition for this regional award, and remember that good help begins with EMS.
Thank you for recognizing us for the efforts that we put forth. It really was a collaborative regional effort, and it was an honor to be able to sit in the Patient Distribution Center to take calls from EMS providers and to help distribute patients throughout this event.
And we just want to say thank you to the community, the EMS community, and for this recognition to the Healthcare Coalition and we continue to be here to be a partner in their community for emergency preparedness.
So altogether, it wouldn't have been possible if everyone hadn't worked together. If all the EMS providers hadn't called into the hotline, if we didn't have individuals that were willing to be a patient distributor or dispatcher, PDC dispatcher, and it took hospitals and EMS agencies and other regional partners to come together to really allow this whole thing to work for greater than 6 months.
It really was such an incredible experience, just from the programming side of it, but also to meet with the region of first responders, their experiences, their best practices, and lessons learned from this experience, a 6-month event. It was very incredible.
I really enjoyed having the opportunity to use our skills and our technology to help the PDC and everyone else try and smooth what was going on during the time, and I'm very thankful for this recognition.
On behalf of the ODEMSA staff, it was our mission and honor to participate in the Patient Distribution Center.
And we would like to recognize the efforts of the region's EMS providers. We thank you.
And now we send this back to you, Tiffany and Tarsha, in the ODEMSA News Now studio.
Thank you, Heidi and Rodney. Congratulations to the ODEMSA region. We know how hard the last year was because we were right there with you. And a huge congratulations goes out to every single person in the region that was involved, no matter how small. Each and every communications officer, EMT, paramedic, firefighter, nurse, doctor, administrator, or a host of others that played any role in the care of patients in the region during the extended COBLAC situation. You all should be proud to be a part of this region.
We also would like to thank the agency and hospital representatives that spent hours and days reviewing plans, asking the hard questions, and making the best decisions for the region, as they always do. The innovation in EMS that our region has benefited from over the past few years is a true testament to how great our ODEMSA region is and how well we can all work together to provide an efficient and effective EMS delivery system across the region.
I've just been informed that Kathy is standing by with our first field report of the evening. Kathy?
Thanks, guys. I'm here at the Richmond Ambulance Authority, where the 2022 Regional Award for Outstanding EMS Telecommunications Dispatcher was presented to Communications Supervisor Rebecca Zealous, who has been with Richmond Ambulance for 15 years. Most recently, Rebecca spearheaded the implementation of What 3 Words GPS program into the RAA communications practices to help their crews locate patients more quickly and accurately when an address is not available.
I don't feel like I deserve the award because every call taker out there gets screamed at every day. And we are there for the first worst 10 minutes of someone's life. Everybody works so hard every day that I don't think that I've done anything different than everybody else. There's a chapter in the book about mental health and mental wellness for providers, but it's a chapter, it's a day in class, and you move on to the more exciting stuff. Wayne was instrumental in helping getting Jim Marshall in to talk to communications about resiliency in communications, and I saw how wonderful that was and wanted to continue that. So we developed a peer support program with Jim Hyde from Peer Support Central and train our own peer in-house to make sure that everybody has adequate training that's reaching out. For continuing education, I thought it was very important for our providers to understand the impact that not only the big calls but the little calls have on us. And we've got EVOC to make sure that you drive safely, but now we've also got the resiliency section to make sure that you are prepared to handle any of the mental health injuries that may occur.
In addition, Rebecca has led the development and serves on RAA's peer support team, has taken on 911 quality assurance, assisted with training classes, teaching courses for RAA's new employee orientation, and provides coaching to their newest supervisors. We are also excited to announce that Brittany Buckler Hoffmaster was presented this year's Regional Award for Outstanding Pre-Hospital Provider. Brittany was promoted to lieutenant in September of 2021 and continues to go above and beyond to assist her patients in the community and her co-workers in order to produce the best possible outcomes for patients and the community.
To be an outstanding provider is doing what we can to make a difference where we can. It doesn't always have to be the sexy lights and siren stuff, you know, making sure someone's cat's fed before we go to the hospital, making sure they have their phone, their keys, their wallet before they go to the hospital, you know, providing them whatever comfort we can and information that we can to try to make their day better. Everything we do here every day is spectacular. I'm lucky enough to work with amazing providers, and I feel like most of what we do that a lot of people feel like may be extraordinary is just going to work. It's just what we do. I like taking care of people. I like trying to make people's day better. So that's what it means for me. I think all of us to a certain degree grew up on, you know, the big TV shows. For me, it was emergency reruns. But like Night Watch and stuff like that, you know, we see the, you know, oh my God, the truck of hemophiliac orphans hit the glass truck and this giant MCI, and this is where those differences are made when really it's the little everyday things. Being there for each other, being there for your coworkers, being there to try to make somebody smile is what can make the biggest difference.
Congratulations to Richmond Ambulance Authority's Regional Award winners. Reporting for ODEMSA News Now, I'm Kathy Eubank.
Thanks, Kathy, and congratulations to Rebecca and Brittany. The app that Kathy mentioned, that the Richmond Ambulance Authority is using, is called What 3 Words, and is an amazing tool. If you don't have it on your phone, you should, because it could save your life or someone else's. What's really cool is that the app has the world divided into 3-meter squares, and each square has a unique combination of 3 words.
Ryan is at Duck Take Sleep. See, he's at Chippenham Hospital in front of the ambulance bays on the sidewalk on the south side of the crosswalk.
I guess we're going to Chippenham with Ryan for the next award.
Thanks, guys. I'm here at Chippenham Hospital, where Ken Smith was just issued the 2022 Regional EMS Award for Outstanding Contribution to EMS Emergency Preparedness and Response.
I guess it's an honor to get recognized by my peers, to not only see the passion that I have for emergency management and my community, to see people see that level of passion. As the emergency manager at Chippenham, I guess one of the biggest challenges is I have to plan for the unknown. Part of my job is to think of bad things that are going to affect the facility and have a plan to respond to them. Ultimately, it's really planning for the unexpected, and then of course working with community partners to make sure that not only our internal plan is intact, but that the external response, we understand what they're going to do when they come in to assist. So AirX22 was our Richmond International Triannual exercise. John Fitzgerald, the chief of the fire department at Richmond International, and myself developed the exercise and then coordinated all the response. We did it as a 2-day exercise. The first day was at the airport. We had 83 patients and over 300 support staff and responders for the incident. On the Friday, we had 8 hospitals participating in the exercise. We didn't transport physically, but they basically simulated transport to the facilities. One of the things I did was designed all the patients that would be presenting to those facilities and then helped coordinate during the actual exercise. The support that I've had for my exercises and the large-scale exercises I've done has been incredible. So I thank everybody out in the field for their assistance, and I couldn't have done a lot of it without them.
Here at Chippenham Hospital, as a level 1 trauma center, it's important that we stay proactive and progressive to anything that possibly comes our way. And we're fortunate to have Ken Smith on our team. Ken is the first person to tell us exactly what is going to be happening, be it weather or any other type of events. He ensures that our community, our staff, and our physicians are well prepared. So thank you, Ken, for all that you do for our team. We're so fortunate to have you. Congratulations to Ken on winning this year's award. For ODEMSA News Now, reporting from Richmond, I'm Ryan Scarborough.
Thanks, Ryan. Our next award is for Nurse with Outstanding Contribution to EMS. This year's nurse is a nurse practitioner, paramedic, and before the COVID-19 pandemic, was actively serving as a volunteer firefighter with Hanover Fire and EMS. The 2022 Regional Award winner for nurse with outstanding contribution to EMS is Mary Frazier. Mary is an instructor for both EMS and nursing continuing education, was an EMT instructor, an active member of the Virginia Medical Reserve and Richmond Flying Squad, and serves on the Virginia 1 Disaster Medical Assistance Team, or Virginia 1 DMAT. She is also a life member of Forest View Volunteer Rescue Squad and Hanover Fire and EMS. Mary is always on the go, to say the least, and has been deployed with DMAT on the national level before, during, and after the COVID-19 pandemic as a nurse. Not only is Mary our award winner for this category, but she is also recognized this year, along with other members of DMATs from across the nation, by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We were surprised, actually, by our commander, Michael Player, that all of us that responded, the medallions that you saw were actually from the 2020 response, starting with the cruise ship on, for the team members that went out the door for COVID. Been out the door several times for missions around the country. With COVID, before COVID, responding to hurricanes, taking care of patients, doing what they need. During COVID, we went to cruise ship in California, helped transfer those patients over to quarantine, unfortunately. Took care of them while they were in quarantine. Well, the Flying Squad is a 5-year team that's been here in the Richmond area that was brought around by our commander, Stephen Korb, in Richmond itself, and he was supporting the Richmond Fire Department. We go out to all the emergencies and we support the first responders, firefighters, EMTs, police officers, and we go out and provide them nutrition, hydration, protection against cancer and carcinogens, and rest. You sound like some of my coworkers. They ask me, what do you like better, being a paramedic or being a nurse? They complement each other. They make me a better nurse and it makes me a better medic. And when I walked into the Bay today, obviously I was very surprised, and I thank you. Humbled. I do not feel that I deserve this in any way, shape, or form. As I've told my coworkers, both volunteer and career, whatnot, I'm just doing my job. I'm doing a lot of them, but I'm just doing my job.
Congratulations to Mary on being selected as this year's winner.
There's still more award announcements coming up.
That's right. You don't want to miss who won Agency of the Year, EMS for Children, or the $1,000 high school senior scholarship.
We'll be right back after this short break.
You depend on them. You trust them. They have to work time after time. With careful attention and maintenance, the equipment is designed to handle the massive stress and strain of the job. But what about the people that operate it? With the weight of repeated trauma and suffering, first responders may experience depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and in some cases, suicidal thoughts. Shockingly, first responders are more likely to die by suicide than in the line of duty. Often it's hard to notice or detect when help is needed, which is why it's important to pay careful attention to the condition of those around you. If you or a first responder you know is suffering and needs help, take the first step. Make the call. Talk to someone. Even the strongest require care and attention, or they wear down. The job is tough, and like the equipment you rely on, it's important to recognize when you need the care to continue to perform. Visit vdh.virginia.gov/make-the-call to learn more.
You're watching ODEMSA News Now.
Welcome back to our special presentation of ODEMSA News Now. If you haven't already, take a moment to click the follow button. Not only will it help us keep you informed, but it will also help us to attract other providers in the region that may not know that we have a social media presence.
We go now to our field reporter, Jessica Goodman. Jessica?
This year's award for outstanding contribution to EMS for children is awarded to Deputy Chief Mike Watkins from Goochland County Fire Rescue and Emergency Services.
But I'm really excited about it. I'm very humbled. You know, I love advocating for kids and taking care of kids. It's been a passion of mine for a long time. You know, I always wanted to be a child advocate. I really had the opportunity in the past couple of years to take both my position as well as my profession to really be a child advocate. I'm excited to now be part of the EMSC committee and their advocacy for that endeavor to make sure that when kids are transported in an EMS unit that they're transported safely and arrive at their destination safe. Well, I married a pediatric nurse. So my wife is a pediatric ER nurse. She's been a pediatric ER nurse for about 15 years, 20 years, depending on how you interpret it. I became a nurse in 2009. I worked for Chippenham in the ER, which had a dedicated pediatric center, so I worked there for about 5 years. Then I left there for a little while as my positions changed in my full-time job, and then I went to the pediatric ER at VCU in October 2016. I've been there ever since, working as a PR employee. With my other roles as a peds nurse, it allows me to do some other types of advocacy as well as still do my clinical care, which is always a good thing for me. My current role is a deputy chief with Goochland Fire and Rescue. I continue to teach PALS as well as help teach the providers out here at EMS Symposium for Peds Trauma. I've also taught a Trauma Nurse Core course, which has a pediatric component. I serve on the EMSC committee, EMS for Children committee. I've been in that for about 1.5 years now since I've been with Goochland. As part of that, I also sit with the training committee. I'm the EMSC representative on the state training committee, the pre-hospital care committee for the trauma, and I also am the chair of the ODEMSA PI committee. Which also looks at, are we transporting kids to the right destination? Are we doing the right things for kids? And doing the right thing for kids is sometimes a little more difficult because it's things we may not think about. Like, it's really important when we're going to give a kid a medicine, we need to have a weight. You know, before we do that, our EMS providers aren't good at guessing weights. I'm not good at guessing weights, so I want to try to advocate for providers to take that moment to understand that piece of the puzzle.
Congratulations to Chief Watkins for being selected as this year's award winner. Reporting from Goochland for ODEMSA News Now, I'm Jessica Goodman.
Congratulations, Mike, and thank you for being a pediatric champion for your agency and the region.
This year's ODEMSA Regional Award for Physician with Outstanding Contribution to Emergency Medical Services is awarded to a physician that feels that they are just one of the many cogs in the wheel and is very humble. We now go to Katina Downey for this year's winner.
Katina Downey reporting from VCU Medical Center in Richmond, Virginia, where the Regional Award for a Physician with Outstanding Contribution to EMS was issued to Dr. Michael Abatanos.
Well, that's one of the highest honors you could get when it's your peers that evaluate you and they think you're worthy of this. I wish I know who they are because I'd like to give this right back to them. I've always believed it's a teamwork. That's the only way we were able to move things forward here is with who are you working with? How can you get that? I'm very grateful, to have been even thought of with regard to this. So it's been really a huge privilege to work with some phenomenal people in order to really bring the trauma system plan to fruition with regard to the whole EMS, their importance, how to take care of the patient in the field, how to transition to the hospital and to the post-acute phase. So that entire way of seeing Virginia prepared at every level becomes extremely important. In my role as the head of the VCU Level 1 Trauma Center, that just helped to kind of expand the view of the importance of each trauma center in the pre-hospital care area and in the whole EMS basically family.
Congratulations to Dr. Abatanos on winning this year's award. We wish him and the rest of this year's regional award winners the best of luck at the Governor's EMS Awards in November. Reporting from VCU Medical Center for ODEMSA News Now, I'm Katina Downey.
Dr. Abatanos is a very busy man. He is a professor and chief of the Division of Acute Care Surgical Services, medical director of VCU's Level 1 Trauma Center, and the Fletcher Emory Ammons Distinguished Professor of Surgery. He serves as the medical director of the VCU Injury and Violence Prevention Program and chairs the hospital's Joint Emergency Preparedness Committee. He additionally serves as the associate medical director of VCU's Center for Trauma and Critical Care Education, or CTCCE, and VCU's paramedic program.
Dr. Abatanis also serves as the state chair of the Virginia chapter of the American College of Surgeons Committee on Trauma. He also serves as the chair of the Virginia State Trauma System Committee and chairs the Trauma Administrative and Governance Committee, which oversees trauma, system, triage, and quality improvement in the Commonwealth. He is appointed to serve on the Governor's Executive Committee of the State EMS Advisory Board. He served as president and now as a member of the Executive Committee of the Pan American Trauma Society, which is the leading trauma society in the Americas. Congratulations again to Dr. Abatanis.
Let's go to a segment that I recorded earlier. We're here at Richmond Fire Department, Station 17, where the Regional Award for Outstanding Contribution to EMS Health and Safety was awarded to Captain Travis Stokes.
It feels amazing to be recognized by my peers based off all of the hard work that we were able to do over the course of 2 years. And although the pandemic is not over and we're still encountering many COVID cases, the recognition that I received from the mayor, Chief Carter, and my former boss, Chief Tracy Thomas, is amazing. It's an emotional thing. I'm very happy that they chose me for this award, and I look forward to continuing the work that I've done over the course of 2 years into my new role as the captain of Station 17.
Joining us for the presentation of the award were Mayor LeVar Stoney and the Richmond Fire Department's Fire Administration, including Chief Melvin Carter.
Hey, I want to take an opportunity to recognize and congratulate the recent ODEMSA Award recipients. The work that you've done for our region and for our people to keep them healthy and safe over the course of the last few years goes unmatched. Whether it's Captain Stokes here with the Richmond Fire or those with the Richmond Ambulance Authority, we appreciate you stepping up and making sure folks stay safe and healthy during these most difficult times. This is a well-deserved recognition, and I just want to say thank you.
Captain Stokes has been regarded the consummate professional, but then COVID came along, and that professionalism was not only tested, but earned its medal.
So recently I was promoted to the rank of captain. Prior to that, I was a lieutenant of ESU, which is our emergency services unit. Over the past 2 years, I was able to lead 8 health equity events across the city of Richmond that address healthcare disparities. In addition to this, I was able to also leverage RVA 311 and create an interactive map that allowed resources for people to gain based on their location in the city of Richmond. Myself and Chief Tracy Thomas, who is the battalion chief of Richmond Fire ESU, were able to lead the COVID and health equity events across the city of Richmond in addition to the workforce and contact tracing efforts.
Captain Stokes helped implement and sustain the agency's pandemic plans, and the plans were so robust, it was adopted for use citywide and even extended to ancillary agencies to include the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office, General Registrar's Office, and the Richmond Courts. Captain Stokes started his career 14 years ago as a volunteer firefighter medic in Prince George, and now holds a doctorate in health sciences, speaking at conferences on how EMS can improve health conditions through mitigation efforts, and continues to be closely involved with emergency management within the department.
Yes, 2020, when the pandemic hit, is when I graduated from Eastern Virginia Medical School with my PhD in health sciences. I was able to also leverage a lot of the things that I used throughout my program and bring that into addressing public health initiatives and healthcare disparities across the city of Richmond.
Reporting from Richmond for ODEMSA News Now, I'm Tarsha Robinson.
Congratulations, Travis, or should I say Dr. Stokes, and Tarsha. That was some top-notch field reporting. You haven't lost your field legs that only us seasoned anchors know anything about.
Speaking of seasoned in all the right ways, let's fly on out to our next award with our very own legend of EMS, Kathy Eubank.
We're here at the Richmond Executive Airport in Chesterfield County. This year, the 2022 Outstanding EMS Agency Award was presented to MedFlight One.
thank y'all for the recognition. It really means a lot to the men and women that come in here every day, climb on these machines, risk their, they risk their lives every time they get on board these machines.
I think they're super unique in the fact that it's really 3 different organizations that come together under one EMS agency. So you have 3 different employees that have different employers that come together every day for the mission, and they provide safe, effective, quality care day in and day out, and it's amazing to watch.
Really, I think we're all humbled by being recognized by peers because it's a huge boost to us, makes us feel appreciated.
The idea or concept of medevacs in the Commonwealth of Virginia sparked out of the Vietnam and Korean War era. We've been serving Central Virginia and South Side for 38 years. Our primary mission is to on-scene medevac work, but we're multi-mission capable, not only doing on-scene medevac work, but we also do law enforcement as well as search and rescue. As a secondary mission, we assist with the movement of patients for inter-facilities, emergency rooms, as well as ICUs.
So MedFlight's a little unique in that it's a 3-agency collaboration with the state police providing a trooper pilot, VCU providing a flight nurse, and Chesterfield a paramedic, all working together to complete the mission with a network of support staff in the background, including maintenance and administration and everything that goes along with keeping the helicopters flying.
This award is very special to all of us because it recognizes no individual but our entire agency.
Congratulations to MedFlight One on winning the regional award. We wish them success at the Governor's Awards in November. This is Kathy Eubank reporting for ODEMSA News Now.
Congratulations to MedFlight One on winning Agency of the Year. If what my producers are saying is correct, this is the first time an air medical agency has been selected to win this award in over 20 years of regional awards. So double congrats to them for being the first of many firsts.
It's funny you mentioned firsts because this year we've had a lot of firsts. First time with the region winning an award because we don't allow the ODEMSA staff to win a regional award. First time that an air medical agency has won Agency of the Year. And not to jinx it, but the first time Megan Seidel with our ODEMSA News Now weather team hasn't messed up our special awards. Her antics are completely over the top.
You just had to say that, didn't you? Don't you know that you just basically did the equivalent of sitting in the station and saying the Q word or trying to eat a hot meal while in service? Megan is like the character Beetlejuice from the 1988 cult classic of the same name that was played by Michael Keaton. If you say her name 3 times, in one newscast she appears and all the extremely exaggerated and overblown weather shenanigans get started. Let's try not to say you know whose name anymore in this broadcast.
Coming up, we still have awards for EMS leadership, EMS excellence, and the winner of the $1,000 scholarship. That will be revealed, so stay right here.
You're watching ODEMSA News Now.
Welcome back. We're going live to Rick out in the region with our next award.
Coming to you live this afternoon from Charlotte County, Virginia, where we've just awarded Walt Bailey the ODEMSA 2022 Award for Leadership.
I am speechless. I don't deserve that. It's so many people that do so much more than me. One, it's mind-boggling that I would ever be considered for something like this. This has been my passion my whole life. What kind of leader? I don't know if I should say lead by example because I don't consider myself a good example. I try to surround myself with people that are a whole lot smarter than me and work collectively together to seek solutions. In my opinion, one of the greatest things that we are able to do in our country was formed on neighbor helping neighbor. The volunteer fire and the volunteer EMS is the last part of that neighbor helping neighbor that exists today. And I want to do everything I can to preserve that, as well as giving the best service that our citizens can get. My roles currently here, I am in my 39th year as the chief of the Phoenix Volunteer Fire Department. In January of this year, I started a new role on the Board of Supervisors. In that role, I was appointed to the Public Safety Committee, and I'm working with the volunteer agencies here in a different role, trying to support them from the Board of Supervisors level, especially with the much needed funding. On the regional level, I'm president of the South Central Council. I was very fortunate to get appointed to ODEMSA's board a number of years ago. I'm currently vice president. In 2012, I was appointed by then Governor Bob McDonnell to the Fire Services Board, which is actually a policy board. You can only serve 2 terms on that board, and my term actually ended June 30th of last year. The governor reached out to me and asked me if I would, do a 3rd term, which is kind of unprecedented, and I agreed to do so. So on the state level, a couple different roles I played. I'm a past president of the Virginia Fire Chiefs Association. I'm currently the first vice president of the State Firefighters Association. I have been working most recently very close with VACO and trying to get involved with them as my position on the Board of Supervisors here. I now have an official position with them under the governance subcommittee there. Words of wisdom for younger providers, the rewards are off the chart. Not financially, it's not going to make you rich, but it's going to make you sleep well at night. And it's nothing like it. It's a high that no drug will ever give you. Without a doubt, this has re-energized me to continue to go and give 110% as long as I possibly can.
Walt has done an enormous amount for the people in his community, the locality, the region, and the state. Reporting for ODEMSA News Now, this is Rick McClure.
Congratulations to Walt on receiving this year's award for leadership. We all know that it is well deserved. Jim from the weather team is informing me that Megan Seidel is waiting for her on-screen time. So I guess we're doing the weather again.
They are going to love this.
Well, we weren't good enough to be in the field anymore, so this is what we got.
Oh, we're coming in 3, 2.
Welcome, everyone, to the news segment at home. This is our 5-day forecast here. We're looking at Wednesday, some snow. Thursday and Friday looking pretty sunny. Saturday and Sunday, not bad. -6 on Wednesday, which we, might want to stay indoors for that. Not looking too bad out there. Des Moines, 39 degrees. Indianapolis, 37. Richmond, -6, guys. Just be careful. Back to our 5-day forecast here. Looking a little windy now. On Thursday, we looking at 52. Let's take a look at what's going on. I understand we got some footage. Well, all right. Looking like we got a hurricane coming in. I've been told it's Hurricane Eric, and it's at least 5-mile-an-hour winds at least, guys. So just take it easy out there. Maybe find some shelter. We can see it's coming right up and headed straight towards Virginia and Richmond. Got a cone of confusion just all over the place, but definitely hitting us, guys. So just get that bottled water. Be careful. Okay. We got some footage from NASA, I'm hearing. It appears that we have a meteor coming on Friday, and we are expected 4,298 degrees. I understand that we got some footage. Would have been nice to let the star know before this. Yes, looks like we have a meteor on fire, headed right towards to merge with Hurricane Eric. And Saturday and Sunday, not looking too good, guys. I'm being told that, yes, there is a 99.3333, repeating, of course, percentage chance of death. So be safe out there. I am being told that there is a chance of good weather between 1 a.m. and 1:32 a.m. on Saturday. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And head on back to the stars of the show.
Now that we got the weather segment out of the way, we can finally go to Jessica, who's still out in the field.
I am at Respond First in Petersburg, where this year's award for EMS Excellence was presented to Robert Sargent. Robert exemplifies outstanding dedication and service to his community, region, and state emergency medical services systems, and as an asset to the EMS community, not only for the care he provided to his patients and the field and clinical settings, but for the knowledge and experience he gained and now shares.
I want to just say thank you for this awesome honor and award. I greatly appreciate it.
In December of 2019, while on duty rendering aid to a cardiac arrest patient, Robert was tragically injured, leaving him dependent on the use of a wheelchair.
I was carrying them out of a house. I had to back into a room and then cut a corner to go down the hallway. And when I turned around the corner, I felt a pop, and my partner and everybody else there heard the pop and lost all feeling and sensation in my right leg. I had a spinal cord compression, and after surgery, I'm now a paraplegic.
Robert was an indispensable member of Hopewell Emergency Crew until its recent closure due to dwindling volunteer membership.
When I was 14, I was volunteering with the Hopewell Police Explorers with Chad Bosserman, and he was volunteering at the crew, and I went and did a ride along with him and Jay Lovelady, and since then I've been stuck doing it. I've held just about every position in my volunteer rescue squad, from equipment sergeant all the way up to chief, and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Robert continues to actively participate in ways that he can by providing training to the public and EMS providers. He is still a BAVRS EVOC instructor and CPR instructor for ASHE and AHA. He is now the Chief Administrative Officer for Respond First and serves as their senior instructor. Robert is also not only active in training, but was recently an asset to the ODEMSA's Patient Distribution Center during the extended activation in late 2021 and early 2022.
Something that I'm very passionate about, and I will continue to help in any which way that I can. I still hold my certification. I still try to mentor as much as I can, even though I'm off the truck, from giving advice to training CPR, first aid, and all that good stuff.
Congratulations to Robert on being nominated and selected as this year's Excellence in EMS Award winner. Reporting from Petersburg for ODEMSA News Now, I'm Jessica Goodman.
Congratulations to all of our award winners. Our final award is for outstanding contribution by a high school senior. And Tiffany, I believe this one is yours.
This year's outstanding contribution by a high school senior will receive a $1,000 scholarship, the Regional Award, and will have the opportunity to do a mini fellowship with VCU Center's EMS Fellows. The 2022 Regional Award for Outstanding Contribution by a high school senior goes to Michael Lansing from Tuckahoe Volunteer Rescue Squad and the Richmond Ambulance Authority. Michael is a well-rounded student who excelled in the classroom, on the field, and in the back of an ambulance.
So balancing, studying, EMS, sports, it was challenging, but it came down to priorities. And knowing that I wanted to go into medicine and having EMS as an outlet for that was a huge priority. And I didn't even know I wanted to do EMS for medicine until I was applying for colleges. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer, follow in the footsteps of my father, go into the military. The aha moment when I realized I wanted to do medicine, we were walking down into the training room, and Amy and I always had a good rapport. And Amy said, "So what do you want to do with your life? Like, what do you want to do as a career?" And my programmed answer was, "Oh, I want to be a lawyer." And something just slipped up, and I said, "Oh yeah, I want to be a doctor." And I took a second, and I was like, I have never said that before. And then I realized, I guess I really do want to be a doctor. And that was kind of the aha moment. And then from then on, it was like, okay, let's apply to college with the idea that I want to be a doctor. So she's really responsible for that. Mark Arnett was a fantastic instructor. I mean, his people come out of that class, and not only are they textbook ready to be an EMT, but they're field ready. So I think he was a fantastic instructor. I credit him with not only getting me interested in medicine, because without kind of his coaching, I would have never known that I wanted to do medicine. From the first day to the end of class, the textbook knowledge and the medical part of it, I just absorbed it like a sponge. And I loved every aspect of it. I would wake up, before school, like an hour or two early, and read the textbook. It was one of those things that would get me out of bed. And it was a complete 180, law and humanities to STEM. So I was like, okay, well, I want to do pre-med now. And luckily, a lot of the colleges that I was looking at were liberal arts colleges, so I was able to kind of switch that. But then I was offered a Army ROTC scholarship. So I'm going into the University of Richmond with an Army scholarship. I was very blessed to receive the Army ROTC scholarship. So U of R, Army ROTC, staying at Tuckahoe. I worked at Richmond Ambulance also over the summer, so we'll see how I can balance that. And then ultimately, I'm thinking about, medical school.
Very proud of him. Very proud. He really has matured amazingly, and he's an awesome kid. He really is. And he's going to do great things. We know that.
I hope so.
Michael is currently attending the University of Richmond and hopes to pursue a career as a physician of emergency medicine, and one day could be one of our region's EMS physicians.
As always, we've had amazing award winners this year. Congratulations to all of this year's winners, and remember that nominations for next year's awards will be starting up soon, so start thinking about who you would like to nominate.
We thank you all for joining us this evening.
From all of us here at ODEMSA News Now,
be safe, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
I'll try not to jiggle.
So Jordan, my money don't jiggle jiggle, it falls. I like to see you wiggle wiggle for sure.
It's part of this video, right? You know he's recording.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He is. These are the bloopers.
We just made the bloopers. Congratulations.
Right. On behalf. I thought you said, do say your name next to it. And I'm like, why does he want that?
That's your blooper. In the blooper. That's your blooper.
I thought you said, do say your name in front of him. Like.
Reporting from Richmond, I'm Tarsha Robinson.
Oh! Cup of coffee and a cup of coffee cup. A cup of coffee and a cup of coffee cup.
Thanks for screwing me up. Needed that little help there, bud.
But what if we did a toilet flush?
Thank you. Fine. Wow.
That we would need to start doing some type of continuity. That we would need to start doing.
Regional EMS Award winners. Start over.
One of those awards very well. Recently from ODEMSA, start over.
From side to side.
Take a step to step back. Or no, you don't have to step back. I want you to be close to that.
Secretary for Preparedness and Response.
Oh, we're almost done. Oh.
Yep, not.
Watermelon. Watermelon. Cantaloupe.
We're going live in 5, 4, 3.
Yep.
I screwed up.
Remember.
So I'm at I know, like that's what I was trying not to do.
$1,000. I was about to say like something else. I don't know. Euro. And 1,000 euros, baby. Okay, anyway.
I'm going to the village.
I'm going to the village. Yeah, sorry. Okay, customary talking. 1,000 yen. $1,000. Okay.
So, and I guess I should give you some direction. So, keep going.
Lifetime. And what was really wonderful is supervisors, hospitals, pardon?
Hold on, you gotta go back.
when the EMS system.
I don't like it either.
You get the next one.
I would need about a dozen takes, Ryan. So it's just
Mommy's just getting out.
As for children, the $1,000, why can't I say $1,000? $1,000.
Almost.
Almost.
Toward the end, yeah, you're fine. You're thinking a lot. So
I am thinking.
Most recently, Rebecca I got to start all over.
Yeah.
Do you need another jiggle?
Yeah. You're.
Congratulations to Dr. Abatanos.
You got to blink too.
I got a link.
Yeah, you're like.
Okay. All right, I'll stop being like.
What if I did like this?
You got to be able to put. Because I feel like I'm just going.
Let's keep those good job vibes going throughout.
Good job, vibes.
Yeah, go.
Type.
A lot of words.
That's a lot of pictures.
Hey.
Shoot.
Regional Award. What? You're welcome. Yeah, really? Congrats here.
Yes, we did. Yes, sorry.
And that's a wrap.
And that's it. We really want to just thank you. That's really it.
That's
Thanks.
a wrap.
You did a great job. Yeah, or is that what we're doing at the end? Thank you. I don't. Are we done? Was that it?
Are we good?
Let me make sure we're cool.
We got through it. Yay!
And now, while Rodney's here with me, I'd like to present the first award of the evening. The Regional Award for Innovation Excellence in EMS. In the fall of 2021, due to a perfect storm of COVID cases, staffing shortages, and a significant number of very sick patients, very sick we believe because they didn't seek treatment during the height of the pandemic, hospitals became oversaturated with patients. There was an unusually high volume of patients, and hospitals were alarmingly short-staffed to handle that volume. This was not unique to our region. The same storm affected health systems the same way across the nation. For those that don't know, EMS personnel must give a detailed report of the patient condition and treatments they performed to ER staff before leaving the patient. In the fall of 2021, throughout the United States, EMS personnel were waiting sometimes 2 to 4 hours or more to give this report and offload the patient in the emergency department. This delay, often referred to as wall time, caused a chain reaction. Because EMS crews were stuck in the ERs, it then left communities short EMS services. ODEMSA already had plans in place to address situations when hospitals become oversaturated. When a certain number of hospitals reflect this status, it triggers a Code Black status in the region. Once in Code Black, under normal circumstances, VCU Medical Center begins the process of evenly distributing ambulances to hospitals with the goal of de-stressing the system. In the past, Code Black status lasted no more than 48 hours. Also in the past, Code Black was only activated once or twice every few years. In the fall of 2021, the ODEMSA region entered Code Black and did not come off that status for 6 months uninterrupted. As the days passed, it became necessary to call in assistance to run the operation. The regional diversion plan was intended for short-term activations. After running for a continuous 2 weeks, VCU requested staffing assistance.
I was the VCU communications manager for 14 years, and our role was to gather all the information for patients coming to VCU health system and distribute them out to the right area of the hospital. Our other role is to do patient distribution for the region when we have a mass casualty incident or something like occurred with the extended Code Black. We were not geared for an extended stay, but VCU stepped up and said, hey, we're in for the long haul, and we'll support the region with anything that we can. And so we took our staffing in conjunction with ODEMSA and Hospital Coalition, and we all got together and decided what was needed, and we started staffing the patient distribution center 24/7 so that we didn't overload anybody or any particular hospital. Worked great. It was more than we had anticipated. It went a lot longer than we had anticipated. Luckily, other people in the region, the ODEMSA staff, stepped up and said, hey, we can help. So we split the duties, or split the staffing, probably 2 weeks after we got into it, and that certainly helped a lot.
It also became apparent to the ODEMSA staff with the longevity of the event that the operation needed enhanced to run more efficiently. The ODEMSA staff ramped up a communications center within the ODEMSA office and began dispatching ambulances from our office. Equipment to run the operation was borrowed from the Central Virginia Healthcare Coalition.
It was a great pleasure for the Central Virginia Healthcare Coalition to participate in the ODEMSA regional patient distribution process. We feel very honored to be recognized as part of this effort. Regionally, the Healthcare Coalition provided a lot of data resources, a lot of phone and technology resources, some radio connectivity, and different types of processes which helped enhance the regional patient distribution system. It converted during the process from a paper process to an electronic process, which now we value very much in our region, and it has allowed us to do patient distribution from either an MCI standpoint or a regular surge that might be a slow rolling surge or an emergent surge.
Right, and we got to be a part of the planning process, working on the diversion plan for the region, and we got to monitor the status of hospitals and emergency departments throughout the region, and we were able to monitor VHAS to see where we were in the region in terms of throughput in our emergency departments to determine if we needed to go from stage green to stage red or stage black.
Phone systems in the ODEMSA office were updated with the help of the Virginia EMS Council's IT assistants.
I became responsible for basically implementing a patient distribution center within the Old Dominion EMS Alliance to assist VCU with their patient distribution abilities due to their staffing limitations. And during that time period, I was responsible for basically any technology that we needed. I worked with the Central Virginia Hospital Coalition with Jordan and Chris to help them to implement their patient distribution dashboard, make sure that it was what we needed for our patient distribution center and the region. In addition, I work really close with our state IT person for the regional councils, making sure that our phone systems were able to handle the call loads that we had, and I also worked with Jessica Goodman to make sure that we had a robust scheduling system that was able to be easily updated and push notifications out to any volunteers or other personnel that were assisting in the PDC so we could cover shifts when needed. About a month or two into the regional patient distribution, that we would need to start doing some type of continuity of operations plan. So at that time, we decided we needed to have the ability for at least our staff and some of the volunteers to be able to take phone calls for the PDC when they were working from home or remotely.
During the time with the Patient Distribution Center, Heidi asked for me to go over to VCU and have their staff to go over with me how the process worked in their Patient Distribution Center. I then took that information and I came back and gave the knowledge to the staff, and we sat down and we implemented a process to build a patient distribution center within ODEMSA. We then realized quickly that with only having seven staff members within our office, that we needed some additional volunteers from the community. We enlisted the help of our hospital partners, the liaisons, CVHC, and some providers from the area who had came in and volunteered on their own time. I took a big part in doing the scheduling, training, and onboarding all of our volunteers. I assisted with implementing the COOP plan with those who had the capabilities and were able to work from home and answer phones to be able to keep us going. Because during this time when we were in the patient distribution center, we did have a hurricane. We had a couple of snowstorms, and there were some other challenges that we faced along the way, and we were able to continue to answer the phone lines in a seamless manner, working alongside of BCU. Also, while we were in the patient distribution center, we realized that there was an opportunity for us to utilize our standalone emergency departments throughout the region a little bit more than what they got used on a normal day-to-day basis. Our providers were able to take more of those low acuity patients to those facilities so that the main hospital could decompress a little while at the same time being able to take care of those critical patients that were going to be admitted and be there for many days.
With the help of Jordan Rennie and Christina Clark, a new, more efficient dashboard was created to assist communication staff to easily determine the best destination.
I was the CHC RCC manager at the time, and worked on a number of different projects and roles in the Patient Distribution Center. My partner in crime here worked along with me on a number of those projects.
To basically take a lot of the paperwork, a lot of the forms that they used in the PDC Center and automated it. Worked with a lot of the groups on what processes worked or didn't work, and canvassed everybody and figured out how we can make it more efficient and better, and developed some dashboards over a few months.
Yeah, so we worked through a whole bunch of use cases and looked at how things were done, previous processes, and then looked at how we could improve those processes. So we previously had numbers that were based on how many patients a facility could receive and things like that. And those numbers were then what fed into the dashboard, which became a little bit more dynamic and capable as we moved on, especially thanks to Chris and her coding. And we were able to create forms and dashboards that fed the information, the flow, the workflows, and patient distribution that occurred throughout the region.
We took advantage of S3's ArcGIS platform. They have a suite of dashboards and forms and all sorts of behind-the-scenes technology and coding. So we basically spoke with them, and just from previous experience, we pulled out whatever would make the process more efficient.
Previously, the paper process was basically just looking at when somebody calls, where could a patient go within the last hour. Very simple. The trouble is that there was obviously the paper transfer that you had between different call centers and different people that were doing those that patient distribution throughout different events historically. The dashboard that Chris and I made took that information and would make it a little bit more dynamic. So Instead of having to look through a list of facilities and patients that have been distributed and everything, the dashboard would give you indicators that would either flash or not flash or show different colors, would show you how many patients had been distributed to a facility within a certain period of time. All that information was also filterable and used a form that was built into the ArcGIS platform that allowed anybody who's doing patient distribution to be able to see from anywhere the information that was being distributed. And that informed the patient distribution center on staffing and a number of different other things.
And so one of the key events from this project was that we took away the 3 a.m. head math, which was very favorable. We got a lot of really good reactions from that. Mm-hmm. So it would basically do everything for you. We used color indicators. The form was standardized, so even though we had a lot of volunteers helping us, they had a standard form to read off of, and it sped up the process for them to take the call. It was a really great experience. It's not very often you get to develop something like this and actually get to work it and tweak it and really understand the needs of the people. So it was really enjoyable to really work with everybody from across the region and learn best practices from everybody. And we were able to tweak the boards to make it as fast, as useful, as easily understood by everybody who came in to help out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were able to beta test it for a while when the PDC was still doing the older, the paper-based function. So it was when we were able to really put it live that we were able to see and work through some issues that came up. Nothing big, but we were able to move on with it pretty quickly.
The ODEMSA Diversion Committee began meeting weekly to determine the best course of action, and the ODEMSA Board of Directors supported the effort every step of the way.
I oversee several of the ODEMSA committees, one of them being the Hospital Diversion Committee. The purpose of that committee is that they hold the regional diversion plan, and its purpose is to allow hospitals to decompress when the EMS system becomes saturated. I worked with our agencies and hospitals to help the plan go into effect with monthly and sometimes weekly conference calls to help keep the system running smoothly.
Hospitals participated by opening up every square inch of their hospitals to hold patients. They were active participants on the diversion committee and provided staff to man the communication center.
Over the course of the past year, the healthcare industry has certainly been challenged in more ways than we ever anticipated. And specifically here in the Richmond region, we had a number of our facilities that all went on EMS Divert at the same time, and through the protocols and policies we had in place, as we all know, we quickly stood up the PDC, the Patient Distribution Center. With that, we had a number of volunteers from throughout the entire community that all banded together to support us when we needed it most.
In the Richmond area, we are so blessed to have an entity like ODEMSA. The foundation of their success, though, is built on the people and the support that they offer this community from a patient's entire healthcare journey. Brandon and I are so thrilled and so thankful for the HCA colleagues that banded together to give nights, weekends, and days to support ODEMSA and the Patient Distribution Center so that we continued as a region to effectively facilitate care.
While it was helpful to have the PDC, in my opinion, one of the best parts of the PDC is that we don't have the PDC anymore. And so, given that we were able to collaboratively come together and put together a structured process in place to essentially dissolve the PDC, has been incredibly helpful for all involved. What we quickly learned as we brought all the volunteers together is that it was not a sustainable solution long term. And so we are incredibly appreciative to the teamwork between all health systems as well as the volunteers to build out that plan to put us in a position where it's not needed anymore.
The Bon Secours EMS coordinators, including Amy Howard from St. Mary's and Short Pump Freestanding, participate as members of the ODEMSA Diversion Committee, which oversees the regional diversion plan. During the extended Code Black in 2021-22, we were called upon to assist in the Patient Distribution Center in addition to our EMS coordinator roles. Our contributions to the PDC was to act as communication officers and work to distribute patients in the region to EDs in an attempt to stem oversaturation of the facilities. It was our pleasure to assist the region as the EMS liaisons as well as fellow EMS providers.
As the event proceeded, volunteers were requested, and we received those from community emergency response teams, or CERT, and from providers that were off duty.
I was a volunteer for the PDC, and it was an honor to be asked to come in and help the Patient Distribution Center during such a critical time that they were in. I think the background of being a dispatcher when I was young helped me understand what was going on. They brought us in. We were able to step right into the aspect of taking phone calls and from the EMS providers that were out there in the field trying to look for a place to take their patients. And so we were able to really do some good work in that. You could tell that, I mean, the EMS providers, they knew when they called us that, you know, we were able to provide them with so much detail of where they could go. And I think it was a sense of relief on their end to be able to do that, to have that ability just to make that one phone call and not have to shop around for where they wanted to go.
Richmond Ambulance offered a program developed by Tom Luden called RICView that helped determine hospital wall time.
Well, we noticed early on during the crisis, because it was a crisis and the system was slowing down, that we needed better intelligence of how long it was taking our units to get through the hospitals and which units we had at each hospital to balance load. So since we already had an existing website, we added on a page. We at Richmond EMS wanted to provide a tool to allow the hospitals and the EMS services and the central leadership to see how long it was taking the ambulances to clear the hospitals, which would give a good idea if the hospital was too busy or too many patients, and we could shift ambulances to other hospitals to try and balance the load. In short, RICView showed hospital turnaround times in a visual tool to see how long it was taking for patient turnover.
EMS providers from the entire region participated by calling the Patient Distribution Center to determine the best place to take patients. As we've just described, to run the operation, it took teamwork from every agency in the region. And with that said, this award is presented to the Old Dominion EMS Alliance.
Thank you, Heidi. And to the person that nominated us. It's the ODEMSA mission to coordinate, plan, and implement an efficient and effective regional EMS delivery system. On behalf of the ODEMSA Board of Directors and the ODEMSA Diversion Committee, who oversees the ODEMSA diversion and destination plans, I accept this award with gratitude. Operating the Patient Distribution Center for a little over half a year was a shining example of how regional planning and partnership should work. ODEMSA accepts this award on behalf of everyone and every agency that participated.
We were glad to be there. BCU was glad to be there and step up and help any way we could. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to say thank you. We're here to support everybody, and hopefully we can continue in the future.
The responsiveness of all parties involved was invaluable. People were very flexible, had positive attitudes in a very stressful time.
We're so thankful for everybody's efforts to continuously improve the health and well-being of the people that we serve.
On behalf of Bon Secours Health System, we appreciate the opportunity to join the PDC team.
It was a stressful time for the emergency departments as well as their EMS crews, and together, the Richmond Health Systems, ODEMSA, and a group of volunteers joined forces, which was unprecedented. It is a privilege to be part of this team and assist our local EMS partners. Thank you for the recognition for this regional award, and remember that good health begins with EMS.
Thank you for recognizing us for the efforts that we put forth. It really was a collaborative regional effort, and it was an honor to be able to sit in the Patient Distribution Center to take calls from EMS providers and to help distribute patients throughout this event.
And we just want to say thank you to the community, the EMS community, and for this recognition to the Healthcare Coalition. And we continue to be here to be a partner in their community for emergency preparedness.
So altogether, it wouldn't have been possible if everyone hadn't worked together. If all the EMS providers hadn't called into the hotline, if we didn't have individuals that were willing to be a patient distributor or dispatcher, PDC dispatcher, and it took hospitals and EMS agencies and other regional partners to come together to really allow this whole thing to work for greater than 6 months.
It really was such an incredible experience, just from the programming side of it, but also to meet with the region of first responders, their experiences, their best practices, and lessons learned from this experience, a 6-month event. It was very incredible.
I really enjoyed having the opportunity to use our skills and our technology to help the PDC and everyone else try and smooth what was going on during the time, and I'm very thankful for this recognition.
On behalf of the ODEMSA staff, it was our mission and honor to participate in the Patient Distribution Center.
And we would like to recognize the efforts of the region's EMS providers. We thank you.